think this is fine. Because the wall tree has a long cooldown, so it's gonna explode eventually anyway. Also, putting it too far in the front means sometimes, maybe, the rubber gold won't throw in time. But looking at this right now, they seem to all be getting the bonus income. But here we go. We gotta be very careful here. I'm basically going to use it for the ceramics. One now. And then another, I'd say now. I think I waited a little bit too late. And I got some greens. Oh well. Also, hold up a bit. Maybe I underestimated Bounty Hunter's damage because the tree, or the ability, does do damage. And so my wall trees can still tank stuff. That's not good. That's some lost potential from the trees being full. Anyway, that's 3.5k just from profit just from that tree alone. I'm gonna use the marked pop though, because sometimes you can mark the balloon before Desperado starts damaging it. There's a bit of a delay. You get the bonus money first. Oh, also, remember, give camo to this round. Anyway, if you could understand, that's how you get an X8 multiplier. Oh, I also don't have wall trees up this round. Crap. I guess I'm gonna have to bounty hunter them up then. Although, does it really matter? Hold up. Because it's the ceramics that we need to get the extra damage from, or the marked spot from. I'm gonna just tank that. That's fine. Also, wait, no, that was bad. I shouldn't have spawned the wall trees to the Moab, because now it's not going to reach the ceramics. And again, that's why, folks, this is a very tricky strategy to fully maximize. High potential, high ceiling, because you need to make sure you get all balloons golded, which I can say for a fact I've absolutely not hit the requirement for so far. Another marked pop for another X2. And that should have been an X8 if the rubber to gold also threw in it. There's no indicator to show that a Moab has been rubber to golded, or a Desperado has marked to pop it either, which is really annoying. And I really wish NK would have added support for that at some point. Oh yeah, see back there, the trees are exploded, so we should just keep that up. And now for the sell-off on tier 2. Yeah, I don't know if the second Desperado paid off, because if I sell it now, then I think I lose about $2,000. Do I think this upgrade made me 2k? I actually think I'm a little bit doubtful on that. But anyway, same old strategy also for tier 2, except just higher tier upgrades this time. So this is 7 overdrives on top of Super Brittle, and we'll sell off that second Jungler's Bounty for attack zone here. Still 5k left, and I'll spend the money on a tier 4 Alpha. Can't go wrong with that. And that's it. All in all, it should be a faster tier 2. Let's see if that's true or not. Blue now? Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe a little bit overkill. I probably could have gotten one last attack for a second and saved some money. But I think it's all good. Ooh, a little bit of mistiming there. Yeah, I would have liked a Max Heat to come at a skull so that there wouldn't be 2 stuns, but it's good enough. What's the final time gonna be? 124 at the end. And a 129, so 34 seconds that tier. Okay, that first attempt felt sus, so let me just try again. Maybe I just got a time blue strike earlier. Like now. Maybe I don't hit max heat early. Yeah, see? Yeah, I don't know what was up with that first attempt. That was way ahead of pace. And so how much of a difference does that end up making for a final score? Let's see. 123. I think it's about a second faster. I mean, I'll take it. Second is a second. Anyway, now it's time we should sell our defense, but the Blast Populous rocks make these unsellable. So there's a little trick you can do. You just go back into the game, and suddenly the game doesn't save the unsellable status. See that? What a cheat code. Now we still have a solid 69.99k to work with. Here's where we deviate from just the Bounty Hunter and the Rubber to Gold though. Spirit of the Forest. I know there are no farms in range, however, Oben at this level grants extra cash generation. And by the way, this amount amounts to 50%. We'll still add back a bounty hunter, but yes, this does make things a little bit tricky because if I want to make money, I would prefer if this thing didn't have vines spawning all across the track and also like the vine grabbing, because that's popping things really early, as you see, and that barely gives time for vertical to rubber gold stuff or stuff to get in the wall of tree trap. So that's why it opens up here. I have to stuff wall of trees very early before the Spirit of the Forest can take hold. As you see though, 1.68k made from Spirit of the Forest that round. Now, counting the amount of money we lost from it damaging, I don't think amounts to 1680, so I think it's worth it. Hold up, I'm not done yet here though. I'm also gonna invest some money weirdly on Mob Assassins. Why this is because it can one-shot through mob layers now. And so there's a quirk in this game I explained many times before, and that is if you one-shot a blip that has a cash multiplier, you get all the cash multiplier from the stuff below it. So it would be as if those 4 balloons were broken golded. And whatnot. Right now with the Spirit of the Forest killing them instantly, I actually don't get the money if the SRAMs don't get the stuff where you throw them. So that's why I do that while I don't have wall trees up, and do that as well. Time it after I use the Bounty Hunter for an X4 bonus. So this is where Assassin comes into play. It's not going to be very effective against mobs, I can say that much. Oh yeah, see how many balloons there are just not getting it. 1 and 2. I can make some mad money on the BFBs at least, because they will take a while to pop. Wait for it, wait for it. Now, and now. And we'll get X2, X4 from everything coming in here. X8 for these here. Oh, okay, no. Trees was full. Ah, crap. I used up all my marked swaps too early. That means that BFB there is missing an X2. And same with this one. God damn it. Trash. And this strategy is so hard to master. But it's a lot of fun. I can't lie. Okay, we can only do 1 this round. By the way, just charged up a couple of the glue abilities because I needed this round. And now we do the sell-off and we find ourselves with how much cash to work with. 127k. Not bad, but you see, for a tier 3, it's a lot to be desired. That's about as much as I can say. Best I can do here, I think. 10 overdrives plus attack zone plus super brittle and 3 401 alks on all of them. In case you're a bit out of the loop, by the way, the embrittlement and super brittle doesn't stack anymore, so that's why I am not getting 2 of them. See how long this takes. It'll definitely be much slower than tier 1, that's for sure. But how much slower? I'd say so far progress is not bad for, I mean, again, way more HP than before. Perhaps I could have sacrificed a little bit this year to keep the Spirit of the Forest, but that's okay. Pretty good progress so far, I would say. And now, I kind of need to get ability up, refresh that plus damage on Glue Strike, but it's not letting me. That's a real bummer. That ability is just stuck there. Now we lose plus 2 damage, which is gonna make this last skull very slow. Actually, not as slow as I thought, but okay, the second Glue Strike was useless, man. Oh, I know why. It's because it was the furthest tower away, so I kept getting the rock thrown on it. Last pop slows the rock like going close, far, and something else strong, expensive. So 240 is good, but is it worth redoing that? I think the answer is yeah. Okay, so the one revision I made is, because I had extra money, I just kept that 1 bounty hunter in the top right corner, and that I let that get stunned instead. And taking a look at the difference now, wow, that is a 237. 3 seconds is not nothing. Unfortunately, there's probably too many blimps at this stage of the game to be able to single out, get extra money from every single one. So these are gonna fall off really hard, and that's why I think from tier 3 to 4, our best bet at making money is legit just spamming these guys. They're about $180 per round, which is horrible efficiency. But if you get them early enough, they can technically turn a profit. Because their efficiency is so bad, I actually don't think it's worth selling stuff like Bluestorm for it, so we'll just hold. I got an extra Snowstorm so I could fit more of these guys in range, by the way. Okay, I will sell Bounty Hunter, though, because I think you need the Assassin, a one-shot to go along with it. So pure Druid income it is, then. Although I guess I will throw in a quick rubber to gold. And around cash, $3,000, man. They really fell off for making $10 million around to this. I did the math, and you need to have these drop down for 9 rounds before they turn a profit at about $180 per round, so... no more druids after round 91. Sorry, quick sidestep. Before going further with that run, I just redid tier 3 to save even more time. 233, and in order to save more money, I think we just keep some of the tax around instead of selling them for more Jungle's Bounties, because again, they're so inefficient that you'd rather save several $1,000s, not buying down tax zone again. Plus, you preserve the pops on it, and that leaves us back at round 97, where I'm now going to sell these a bit prematurely, because I need to add Permbrew. We have enough money to do that now, and it's 100% worth it, but it needs rounds to throw Alk on as many targets as possible. Also got 501 to throw it a little bit faster, but even 2 rounds in, oh boy, there were a lot of attacks over here still missing P-Brew, so I might have needed 96. All in all, I don't think it'll be too big of a deal. Now, the question is, how many of these overdrives or Jungle's Bounties do I need to sell to upgrade these to overdrive in time? Probably just sell this, buy this, and yeah, wow, there's still at least 7 tax missing Permabrew. Well, hopefully the difference is marginal. I also got a 240 for this tier because I think I need the extra +1 damage, even though I has low uptime. I'm okay to make the sacrifice. So use this now, and I have to use Glue Storm 13 seconds later. This lasts a very short duration. Let's see, the moment the glue's off, yep, rain down that now. And I do have to sell. Yeah, I'm selling. These tags are not upgraded, and I need them to be. Come on. I'll throw in a Snowstorm for fun to lower the heat. Using the ability for fun fact does lower the heat a substantial amount. If we can beat this before 4 minutes, that would be amazing. Only bad news is that glue timed out, and I'm gonna lose a lot of DPS now. Maybe it was worth it to go for an extra glue, because this ain't good. I'm also dying to DDTs here. Yeah, bro, everything slowed down at the last tier. Let's add one more. Alright, running it back, let's see your progress now. So I dropped a Dark Monkey over there, just like tier 1 to stall or not have a rock land on the glue strike. I still have the same problem, no glue strike here, that's okay. I got one coming right now. I used 2 by accident, but hey, that's exactly 4 minutes, so I'll take it. 406. Not bad. Again, this is going to be the boss of experimenting, so hear me out here. Sell Spirit of the Forest, but we keep the Jungle's Bounty. Why this is because I think I want to get the Tac Paragon tier 5. So I personally think that the money that the Spirit of the Forest makes is not worth the amount of pops it will steal from the Tac shooters. Jungle's Bounties are weak enough that I don't think it really matters, so we're good. For that same reason, let me also get rid of Super Brittle, and in place of it, just go for a Shimmer for DDTs. Didn't have enough money to do this in the 90s also, but gonna add an Arctic Wind up here, thanks to Open Permbrew. He now has more range to deal damage to stuff up here. So that's how we still keep a good amount of Jungle's Bounties without having to sell all of the tanks in the middle, you know? Believe it or not, still more space for 5 more druids in the bottom right corner, and that's it for now. I also sold 1 tack because I need to, remember, place the Paragon. I think the tack zone spot's too high up, so I'm thinking here right now. Although TBD. So degree 60 would be the dream, but I didn't actually do the math yet if I can actually get there. But if we're close enough and I only have to spend a little bit of money, then sure. If not, then we'll settle for a 50-something. 40-something, and then spend the rest of the money on, well, kind of what you already see here. If we still have excess money after the Tac Paragon, then it's just gonna be overdrive spam. It's kind of funny that all 5 tiers are the exact same defense, but just a little bit more each time. Well, this is it, fellas, for all of the marbles here. Once again, you always need 1 round in advance to cool off the Crucible ability, otherwise you lose a lot of power. So let's see if we can get it now, just by selling the Jungler's Bounties here. And this guy, too. Okay, damn, that's really close. How about 1 Glue Strike here? And let's first test the degree. How close are we to 60, or is it not? Quite a bit off, actually. I don't know how much I love this spot compared to the tax zone, but if it looks bad, we'll just go back in time and try this again. Also, I think I definitely have to sell the Glue Storm here. I pretty much can't afford any tech upgrade unless I sell it, but that means that after it times out, I'm just gonna be left with a weak 240 here. Maybe I'll buy back an 042 extra, but we'll see first, okay? Bring in the final tier, and if it's under 7 minutes, I will be satisfied. How hard can that be, really? Do this big nuke now. Sell this. And quickly. As many overdrives as I can feasibly afford, and that wasn't a whole lot of them. Rip. First skull now. Is this good right now, chat? Because, I don't know. Blue strike now, and yeah, they only have a couple thousand damage on it. This is hardly gonna make much of a difference. It's pretty much all on the Paragon. And that's why 60 is really important, but I don't think I could have gotten that with the way I played it out. And why did I not get an embrittlement? I'm throwing so hard, sorry folks. On the bright side, oh, I want to sell this, good. Oh, I meant to buy it, the Embrit. Better late than never, I guess. Another one. I'll keep buying new ones down here as I see fit. Also, hopefully we get the second meteor ability before we hit max heat. Because I could use that nuke damage, but the Tech Paragon ability isn't moving at all. This is bad. This is not doing any damage. Sell again. And nope, we're not hitting it. This sucks ass. Wow, I was like 2 seconds off from getting it again. Brutal. Shit like this is probably worthy of a reset, but question is, how much do I care? Or do we think this time is good enough? Let's see. I don't know. It's gonna be 6:30. Let's try one more time to get sub 6:30. Nope, no matter what I did, well, I didn't really try. I only tried twice here. I couldn't really cut much more. I think maybe, actually, if I went for less overdrives and less projectiles, it actually would get me the second meteor, but with there being a skull in the way, I don't think it overkills damage, overflows. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it seemed like I didn't need to get the Tech Paragon 1 round in advance, because we only end up getting one ability off anyway. Oh well, 634 is very, very, very good. And that puts us top 10 at the moment. I think this time actually would have been first at the time I first started the run, but of course people optimize, and now it's all the way down to 4 minutes, but still a higher time than Elite, and that says a lot. And again, I found this probably one of the most fun boss weeks in a very, very long time. Let me know what you think as well. I think farmless or awkward income generating boss events are where it's at. Welcome back to the third part of the massive BG6 tournament, where 64 players are duking it out to see who is the best at bossing. I recommend you watch the first 2 videos on this tournament first if you haven't, but to give you a recap, week 1 of the group stage is finished, and this is what my current group looks like after the first round, of which I am tied for 4th out of 16 in points. Which is not ideal, because after 5 weeks, the top 4 in points move on to the playoffs, so kind of have to step up my game if I want to make it there. Unfortunately, I have to step up my game against Elite FaZe on Hedge, which is a timed boss this week. Not my biggest strength, but we'll see it. Now, some very, very important rules for this boss. There's a big bug going around that is not allowed to use in this event, but more importantly, you only have to complete the first 3 tiers of this boss, as well as ignoring up to 5 seconds of penalty time. Ban towers are Super Monkey and Wizard, and no Paragon limit, however, no Dark Paragon, because obviously Dark Paragon on a map with walls is GG and too easy. But before you go screaming, why only 3 tiers? What a buzzkill that you aren't going to see tier 4 and 5 here. Well, let me explain why this is actually a really, really good change. Maybe not for the viewers, but for the contestants. Because even the top bossers agree that traditional time bossing is incredibly tedious due to 2 things. One, the fact that a boss is 5 tiers, so in order to get the top ranking, you have to optimize every single round of farming for basically 120 rounds, as well as selling your entire defense to build farms, and then sell the farms to build defense for all the tiers. So cutting out tier 4 and 5 saves a lot of effort. It no longer makes it a tournament or a challenge of who is the most unemployed and can spend the most amount of hours filling up the entire map with spike factories. Instead, you now only have to do that for 40 less rounds, which, let me tell you, is a big difference. If this was 5 tiers, I probably would be crashing out right now. The second part of what makes time bossing annoying is the penalty. Basically, I talk about penalty a lot in time bossing. It is when you take too long to beat a round, that extra time will be counted towards your score. The penalty starts X seconds after the last boon spawns in, which isn't a big deal for late game, but early game when you have no towers, you're going to be seeing the penalty a lot of the time. And it's incredibly infuriating in the early game to avoid a penalty, because sometimes you don't know when the penalty starts, so you don't have the reaction to see that you're going to incur like a 0.1 second penalty. So this rule gives you 5 seconds of wiggle room, which is more than enough to make it way less tedious. And yeah, those 2 changes, I give it my seal of approval. They actually found a way to make time bossing fun, quote unquote. I take advantage of this relaxed penalty rule by incurring a 1 second penalty in round 9. I tried many times to avoid any penalty with Dart and Geraldo, but ultimately 1 is the best I could do. And several rounds later, I incur an unintentional penalty. My reaction time is incredibly slow, so I let 0.35 seconds pass. So we're now at 1.43 penalty on round 14. I should note every hero is allowed, and I picked Geraldo for his utility on tier 2 and 3. He's worse than Benjamin for early game farming, but trust me, the utility is so much needed that we have to sacrifice tier 1 income a little bit. Now, over on round 14, we're going to add a shooting turret because I need defense for 15. Live commentary is going to take over here, by the way. I know in the last video I mentioned that this, and most of you honestly didn't care if it was post-commentary or live, but I personally find live preferable. However, not all the time, so I'm going to be switching back and forth depending on how I feel at the time. Oh, beautiful. Every single dollar matters in the early game here, so I was able to barely squeeze out 1 banana from a 0-0-0 farm last round. And let me tell you, that extra banana will go a long way. This round, I cannot beat without a penalty, so we are going to get our second shooting turret now. Some more tricks that I do is, when I have an upgrade available to buy on a farm in the middle of the round, do not buy the upgrade until after I get a farm tick. The quick TLDR is that each farm cross path ticks in certain intervals depending on how many bananas it makes during the round. So this, given this image here, the rule of thumb is that you get the banana tick from the previous upgrade first, and then buy the next one so you don't miss out on a banana. So same rule applies this round here. After getting a banana, do not buy the upgrade immediately. Wait for the next tick, is the rule of thumb. Although that took a while. That should have gotten me an extra buck, though. And as you can see, with Geraldo, we're not going for the usual bank into IMF loan. It's better to go 2-0-0 farm spam and just selling them all on round 30. So now we're going to buy discount villages in a very specific order so that I'm left with the most amount of money. Bear with me here. We start with 1-0-0-2 over here. Do 2-0-2 cross path to sell for more money. And we gotta make sure to get each 2-0-2 upgrade under as many discounts as possible. These 2 over here are both going to be under 2. And then this one here is going to be under just 1. And now we place our Monkeyopolis under the triple discount. So now we get our Monkey City under triple discount as well as the Sacrifice Farm as a triple discount. And sell 2 farms, sacrifice this, sell this, and now we got 2k to work on building farms again. It's not enough money to buy a balloon trap, so I'm just going to focus on getting a marketplace first. Round 32, we're gonna try to sell the Shooty Turret, this Shooty Turret a little bit earlier, so that I can get my marketplace a little bit earlier. This does mean I leak a lot of lives, however, we're not gonna use that money to get an engineer, and then upgrade it to 002 to try to preserve some lives here. Sell Shooty Turret, we are so greedy that we are going to buy upgrades on the farm first before giving camo on the engineer here. So make the next 48 tick, there we go. $200, and there we go. Our balloon trap will be delayed until round 35 because I couldn't find a way to get marketplace on a 4-down round 34. I could actually buy a mid-round, but there's an issue with the trap in that when you buy 014 in the middle of the round, it takes like 10 seconds to replace the trap, so it's just not worth it to get until after the round ends, and then you can manually target the trap. Like, for example, if I do this and this, then it'll go to the position immediately, as opposed to if I bought it in the middle of a round. It wouldn't do that. And let's try to get another farm in the middle of this round too, and hopefully squeeze some bananas out of it. One. Just one. Also, due to how the game works, if I want to make the most amount of money, I actually have to beat every round on my first try, like after getting a balloon trap up, because apparently when you reload a save, the money that the trap saves is not, like, multiplied by stuff, I think, like Monkeyopolis. Correct me if I'm wrong, or Monkey City. Anyway, for the Let's here, let's get Let's Gold in time. Can we get Rubber Gold too? Perfect. On Strong. How some people get around this side here is that before the round ends, make sure to reset the trap so that it has the least amount of balloons possible. So I'm going to do that for round 39, because in case I need to retry round 40 multiple times here. Basically, before the last balloon gets into the trap, replace it. It didn't work. It was on cooldown, and I probably lost hundreds of dollars there. Like, I'm going to reload the round, and you see it. 907 showed up on the trap, but it would have been much more if I was able to replace it. Anyway, let me show you how much money I have now after selling everything. 55.7k. Not bad. However, because I didn't play the last 5 rounds perfectly, I'm going to redo it. Okay, this is really dumb. I thought my first attempt was bad, but it turns out of like 10 attempts afterwards, that was still my best, like, round 40 cash amount. I think this is finally my best attempt at 55.9. Okay, beautiful. This was the best count where I could find to beat tier 1 phase really quickly, and why I needed this, like, to squeeze out this much money in the first place. So we're gonna go for a ninja down over here, and we're gonna go for a Master Bomber. 005, we don't need attack speed because if it's the only balloon on screen, then it'll throw the sticky immediately after it detonates, no matter if I cross path or not. This is not the full setup, but I just want to show you how much damage the Master Bomber does. It does 3,000 damage each sticky, which on phase, as you see, it means it will take 2 stickies to detonate the shield layer, and then another 2 for each skull afterwards. See? Here's an issue. That second sticky for it to get to the first skull is an incredibly small amount of damage. It's actually just 333. I could definitely save a lot of time if I got defense on top of Master Bomber that did 300 damage before that sticky detonated. And that's why on top of Master Bomber, I'm going to go for another sticky bomb up over here. I have to buy a larger radius so that it can see through the hedge. If you didn't know on this map, yes, those tiny slivers allow towers to get normally blocked to be able to see and shoot through. That's going to be really important because phase is going to be somewhere over here, and over here on its last skull. So it's important to have the sticky bomb land. This is 500 damage, which pairs very well with the Master Bomber. However, I don't need to buy it immediately, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep one farm on the screen to make a little bit of money first, okay? And additionally, drop a creepy idol here, because what I want to do while beating phase is I want to make as little rounds progress as possible. So a trick a lot of people do is they use creepy idols and glues to stall the ceramics. My goal is to beat phase before round 41 ends, okay? Anyway, now we go sticky, and as you can see, okay, that was a little bit off. I should have bought the sticky bomb earlier, but you see what I did there? We now technically only need 1 Master Bomber sticky to be able to get to the skull faster, so this saves several seconds. I think 3 creepy idols is what we need to beat this before round 41 ends. Now, there's just one issue. The next jump forward after this one Sticky Bomb is not going to be in range. So I found another tower to do 300 damage for the last skull, which is a lot of extra money, but it is what it is. Sell this now. 130 Shredder. And provided the balloons don't get in the way, you should see this do 300 damage. Good enough, I think. And just like that, we executed phase before round 41 ended, just like I wanted. However, I guess it took too long to beat the blues here, so that's going to be a massive penalty. So I'm not going to take this run, but this is just a proof of concept to show you what I'm doing for Tier 1. Because this is a tournament, and I believe every millisecond and second matters, I'm going to replay Tier 1 a dozen times or so, and take whatever my best time ends up being. Because when there's only 3 tiers to worry about, I think I can put more focus into perfecting each one. And so the run you see here is the result of 20 retries on Tier 1. Here are the changes I made from the first attempt that you saw. The key thing is, instead of the Master Bomb being at the very bottom of the track, it's actually right below Geraldo, because I realized midway through that the distance between the Sticky Bomb and the boss matters, because there's a travel distance, so the closer it is, the faster it can throw each bomb on the balloon and detonate it. So that saved a tiny smidgen of time, and I also had to end up buying a crosspath on the Sticky Bomb, 104, because no matter what I did with 004, I couldn't quite get the skull to one-shot perfectly. And in fact, it still isn't perfect in this attempt. You see there's a very tiny gap where the Master Bomb detonated first, but this was the best I could have done. I also ended up saving money on 1 creepy idol, only needed 2 instead of 3. And for the very ending part here, we actually miss a perfect last skull kill by like 2 frames, believe it or not. Overall, I think this attempt was about 0.15 seconds off of being purely perfect. But I could not get it perfect. This ended up being 2 seconds faster than attempt number 1, clocking in at a non-penalty time of 120.4. And now we can finally move on to farming for Tier 2 again, and I'm gonna get back a Monkeyopolis. With perfect discounts, of course, I am able to also get a BRF. Unfortunately, that's all the money I have. I can't get a Balloon Trap, so we gotta wait till next round. But the thing is, without Balloon Trap, now I'm going to be weak to defending the Rainbow. So what I had to do was I actually used some of my free Dart Monkeys, 6 out of 9 of them to be exact, nice, to defend the Rigger Rainbows coming in. So that was pretty cool tech. Round 43, I finally unlocked the Fertilizer, so I get extra money in my BRF, but the thing is, if I can't buy Balloon Trap at the start of the round, then I have the same issue, like I said on round 35, where I can't replace the trap until 10 seconds after buying it, so sadly, there's nothing I could do for round 43. I just had to kind of leave it in the back there, wait for balloons to come in. Probably lost a little bit of money there, but thankfully, being perfect matters less and less the closer I am to the finish line. Not really many crazy shenanigans from here on out. We just go for the usual into rushing a Banana Central as early as possible. I think if I do everything right, I should afford a Banana Central at the end of round 52. It's pretty standard stuff. Overclock the BRF first, and then buy 4 central markets around the village. So 2 Trumps and 49, and I'm pretty sure the meta is now to go for a Mob Shredder with Smart Spikes on round 50 for all Moabs. It's so good. Reset the round to collect traps, sell these 4, and we are 5k off. That means we just gotta sell 1 of these, and I think 1 of these, and there we have it. One more thing that's incredibly important to not miss is I gotta buy level 11 Geraldo this round. If I do this, I'll have 2 Reader Potions at the start of round 60, which I'm going to need. It's also at this point with only a few rounds left that instead of going for 4 2-0s, I'm gonna do 4-0-2 farms, okay? You might see some people also go sometimes for a 0-2-4, but I think I did the math, and with the Banana Central buff, this here should be making you more money. Now, the strategy I plan for Tier 2 doesn't require me to need to use all my money for Tier 2, so it would be really nice if I could keep my Banana Central for Tier 2. However, I want to see how the money's looking. What I want for Tier 2 is to build a Lord of the Abyss for water. I'm also going to do a flavor trade so I could sell some of these over here. And what I want is I want 10 first strikes. It's about as close as an int skill as you can get because you need 30 first strikes total. I have 2 rejuve, so that allows 3 uses for each first strike. And that is perfectly the amount that I need. Now, the only issue is, again, 10 first strikes is pretty expensive. I need about $70,000 more. These 2 sell for 38. 50. I think I can do it if I sell even the overclocks for it, which is how precise, but that's how it goes. So I can wait a little bit into the round before selling it, because I don't need the first strike abilities immediately. I think now I probably should sell, though. Sell this. 1,